After our last video about Milwaukee Tool suing Klein over their ModBox system, the comments section absolutely exploded. You had questions, you had critiques, and you even brought up some solid points we can't ignore. One question stood out above the rest. Why isn't Milwaukee suing other modular storage makers like dewalt, Flex, or Makita? We're going to answer that question as well as discuss the real-world impact of how suing Klein could end Milwaukee Tool. Right after this message from our sponsor, BCG Construction. Want to help out with the channel? Then head on over to the merch store. You can get hats, hoodies, t-shirts. Link will be in the description below. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Vince. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to you especially. To quickly recap, Milwaukee filed a lawsuit against Klein Tools, claiming their ModBox system infringes on 3 key Packout patents. These patents cover things like stacking, locking, mechanisms, and modular interconnectivity. But as many of you pointed out, Milwaukee isn't the first or only player in the modular storage game. So why target Klein and not go after big names like dewalt or Festool? Here's what some of you had to say. This feels like selective targeting. Festool should sue them all then. Sustainers were first by a decade. And why not go after dewalt or Makita? Great questions. Let's break it on down. But before we do that, if you're super early to this video, go down to the comments section and join the notification squad by typing the word FIRST. And if you are indeed first to do that, you will be nominated for an illustrious title and possibly an award. This comment isn't just a one-off. Milwaukee Tool has a long history of aggressively protecting its patents. And the lawsuit against Klein Tools is just the latest example. @StackSmarter says, I received a cease and desist letter from Milwaukee the same week Milwaukee received their patent. A Milwaukee employee in the Packout division told me they knew about me and was watching me for a long time. Milwaukee's approach to patent infringement is anything but passive. Did you know they've actually gone after major competitors over intellectual property disputes, especially when it comes to lithium-ion battery technology? For example, Milwaukee successfully sued Snap-on Inc. in 2017 with a federal jury awarding them $27.8 million for willful infringement of their lithium-ion battery patents. Similarly, Makita and Hitachi have faced lawsuits and settled out of court to avoid prolonged legal battles. These actions highlight Milwaukee's strategy: secure patents on key innovations, monitor competitors closely, and act swiftly when they believe intellectual property is being infringed. Milwaukee doesn't wait for competitors to gain ground. Cease and desist letters are often their first line of defense. In some cases, they've reportedly sent these letters shortly after securing a patent, making it clear they won't tolerate what they perceive as copying. While this might seem aggressive, it's part of a broader strategy to maintain their dominance in the tool industry. By targeting competitors early, Milwaukee limits potential threats to their market share. Of course, this strategy isn't without its risk. On one hand, enforcing patents helps Milwaukee protect its innovations and secure licensing agreements. On the other, it could generate criticism from consumers and competitors who see these lawsuits as overreach. At the end of the day, Milwaukee's approach sends a clear message. If you're entering their space, you better make sure your designs are original or be ready for a legal battle. So what do you think? Is Milwaukee right to defend their patents this aggressively, or does this approach stifle healthy competition? Let us know down in the comments section below. First, let's talk patents. Just because a company makes modular storage doesn't mean it infringes on Milwaukee's patents. Patents are all about specific designs and mechanisms. Milwaukee's lawsuit hinges on the idea that Klein's ModBox directly copies features unique to Packout. Other brands like dewalt, Tough System, or Flex Stack Pack have different locking mechanisms and configurations which might not infringe on Milwaukee's patents. And yes, many of you brought up Festool's sustainers. They were pioneers in modular storage, but their systems predate Milwaukee's patents by years. That means they're likely outside Milwaukee's patent scope. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: strategic targeting. Some of you suggested Milwaukee might be going after Klein because they see ModBox as a growing competitor. Klein's system offers a similar modular design at a competitive price point, which might pose a bigger threat to Packout than older systems like the dewalt system. Lawsuits like this can be less about protecting patents and more about disrupting competition. By tying Klein up in legal battles, Milwaukee might slow down ModBox's momentum in the market. So why aren't dewalt, Flex, and Makita being sued? Simple. They've likely done enough to differentiate their designs. Different locking mechanisms, stacking paths, or even just filing their own patents could keep them out of Milwaukee's legal crosshairs. Also, some brands like dewalt have been in the modular game longer than Milwaukee, which makes it harder for Milwaukee to claim infringement. So, what does this mean for us, the consumers? Well, competition is the driving force behind better products and lower prices. Lawsuits like this might protect innovation, but they can also reduce choices if competitors are forced to exit the market. So whether you're Team Packout, Team ModBox, or just a fan of good tools, it's worth keeping an eye on how this plays out. At Dustina6261, yeah, as a lawyer, Milwaukee won't win that suit. There are way too many modular systems that are all very similar with similar offerings. This is selective targeting, and Milwaukee doesn't own the idea for toolboxes. This comment does bring up an interesting point. What does Milwaukee stand to lose by filing this lawsuit? Let's dig into the potential repercussions for the company. First, filing a lawsuit like this puts Milwaukee in the spotlight, and not always in a good way. Some consumers view this as selective targeting or even an attempt to stifle competition unfairly. Comments like this one suggest frustration with Milwaukee's approach. At Imagigoat8696 says, Team Red's locking system isn't innovative. It's basically a take on a French cleat. This reminds me of when the owner of Nestle wanted to patent water. Whether you agree or not, this perception can hurt Milwaukee's reputation among tradespeople and DIYers who value open competition and innovation. If the community sees this lawsuit as frivolous or overly aggressive, it might drive some loyal customers toward other brands. Lawsuits like this aren't cheap. Milwaukee's likely spending significant resources on legal fees, research, and court appearances. And here's the kicker: if they lose, not only do they eat those costs, but they also risk emboldening competitors like dewalt, Makita, and Klein to challenge their patents in the future. On top of that, a loss could undermine Milwaukee's patent claims altogether, weakening their ability to defend their intellectual property going forward. Then there's the industry impact. Other tool manufacturers might see this as a sign to lawyer up and prepare for legal battles of their own. At Proxy Final mentioned, Klein can sue Husky if that's the case. dewalt can also sue Flex. Filing a lawsuit like this sets a precedent. If it becomes the norm for tool companies to battle out in court, we might see less collaboration and more focus on legal defenses instead of product innovation. I mean, Lord knows, all of you have asked for battery interchangeability among platforms. If they can't even get this together, how would they ever make that work? At the end of the day, consumers want more options, not fewer. If this lawsuit leads to fewer competitors in the modular storage space, it could backfire on Milwaukee by making them seem like a company more focused on dominating the market than creating the best tools. So what's your take? Do you think Milwaukee's justified, or is this just strategic targeting? And what about brands like dewalt and Makita? Are they in the clear? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. With that, I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thanks a lot, everybody. I hope to see you all on the next one.